Good afternoon, students. Welcome to another
Good
session.
afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon,
Good,
ma'am.
good afternoon, each one. Good afternoon, dear. So, in the morning, I believe everybody had enjoyed the session based on digital marketing. How
Yes,
many of you have participated? How many of you had the query? Did you clear your doubts?
ma'am, me.
Very good. What about the others?
Ma'am participated in
Yes, ma'am.
quiz.
All right. I'll appreciate if you people can start noting the information that is shared by Divya ma'am. Reason being, digital marketing is one of the most happening like things around globally. So students, they should know what digital marketing is because after a couple of years time, you people are going to use digital marketing wherever you're going to work. There is a small course on digital marketing on HubSpot, which is free of cost. So if you are really interested, what I'll do is I'll be sharing the link with you all. You can go through it, you can study it, you can get the certification, and this will also enrich your resume. All right. So apart from that, I have also shared with you people the different examples of metaphor, simile, and oxymoron. How many of you have gone through the material that is posted on Classroom? So Ananta says that she has referred all those. Okay. Rest others who did not refer, I'll appreciate if you can really look into those things because only then you will get the clarity. Otherwise, there will be a bit confusion whenever you talk about metaphor or simile. All right. So to give you a quick glance of what we did yesterday, we started our business English classes. And in this particular business English, we started talking about expressing the information in a different way. So when we talk about beautifying our words or when we are talking about presenting our thoughts in a beautiful way, we use different parts of like parts of speeches under which the figures of speech here, which includes the beautifying of your thought, beautifying of your idea, presenting your thoughts and ideas in a unique way so that people can understand and can you can grab the attention of the reader by writing it in a typical manner. So when we talk about metaphor, as discussed yesterday, when we compare different things, when we are comparing indirectly, when there are comparison between the objects which are not at all related, but still you try to create that similarity, then we call it as metaphor. Now, opposite to this metaphor is simile. Whenever we are talking about simile, similes are exactly like metaphor, but here it is direct comparison of any object or any person or any place. Indirect comparison is metaphor. Direct comparison will be considered as simile. Now, the next one that we have discussed was oxymoron, wherein we are contradicting two different expressions or the complex meaning, so that whenever we are expressing, people will try to understand that what exactly you are trying to express. So, oxymorons are again the common phrases that are used in day-to-day life. Now, let us understand about the other figures of speech today in today's class. Now, the next one is alliteration. Now, this alliteration is repetition of the beginning sounds of the neighboring words. Now, what the word alliteration means, same sound, be it a vowel or the consonant, the same sound will be heard in each and every word. For example, the first example that you can see on the slide that is shared with you all, she sells seashells. You can see here, sh and s is the sound that is that is clearly audible whenever you are pronouncing this particular statement or a sentence. Similarly, Walter wondered where Winnie was. Now, all the letters, if you are going to read or if you utter this particular sentence, you will see that every word that is uttered is beginning with the sound W. Similarly, the third example, blue baby bonnets bobbed through the bay. So here you can see emphasize is on B sound. Similarly, Nick needed new notebook. Now, whenever you write any sentence where the basic sound of the consonant or of the word is repeating at different places, then we call it as alteration. Alliterations are again a way of presenting your creative writing. Many a times, whenever you are creating jingles, when you are working in the organization, when you are working with creative team, particularly in advertisement department or marketing team, you have to use such kind of alliterations so that you can attract, you can grab the attention of the audiences. So I believe everybody could understand how do we use alliterations, and these are very useful whenever you are trying to cling with the idea or attract the audiences. The next is assonance. Now here in alliteration, the sound remains same everywhere of the consonant. Whereas when we talk about assonance, the repetition of vowel sounds, it's not focused on the letter. You need to keep this in your mind. Vowels are always combined with consonant sounds. Now, what are the common vowel sounds? Er, e, a, o, u. Now, whenever we talk about the different vowel sounds, though there are 5 different letters which represent the vowel letters, but the vowel letters, they produce 12 pure vowel sounds. Now, when we are talking about those 12 pure vowel sounds or 8 diphthongs, you should always remember the vowel sounds are always remain same whenever you are writing assonance. Now, here the example proves the first sound that you can see is it's not A. Keep that in your mind. It is A. For example, for the rare and radiant maiden whom the angels named Lenore. Now you will see that for a sound, the a sound, rare a sound, and a sound, radiant, again the sound a, you can hear it twice. Maiden, again a sound, whom, sound of a, the angel named Lenore. Now, everywhere the sound of the vowel letter A could be heard. Similarly, the next one. Now, it's not E, the sound is of A. So, for example, therefore, all seasons shall be sweet to thee. Now, many a times the sound of E could be E as well as A. So, wherever the sounds remain same, when we talk about the sounds, we are talking about the vowel sounds. And vowel sounds are always produced by joining, by conjoining the consonant letters. So whenever we are joining the consonant letter with one single vowel sound where the same vowel sound is repeated in every different word that we use. यहाँ पर ये याद रखना है, assonance में क्या हो रहा है, vowel sound repeat हो रहा है. Vowel sounds कैसे produce होते हैं, consonant sounds के बीच में insert किया जाता है vowel sounds. तो हर एक शब्द को जब आप बोलेंगे, जब उसे उच्चारित करते हैं, तो वहां पर आपको वही सेम vowel sound सुनाई देगा. Whereas इससे पहले वाला में alliterations में ये याद रखना है, consonant sounds repeat हो रहे हैं हर एक शब्द के साथ. So don't get confused in examination if somebody asks what is the difference between alliterations and assonance. Now, alliterations will be repetition of the beginning sound. All right. Now, it could be a vowel sound or it could be the consonant. Whereas when we talked about assonance, assonance would be the repetition of the vowel sounds, and these vowel sounds are closely connected. All right. So you can see that same sound, the same vowel sound is repeated in each and every word. I hope everybody could understand the difference between alliteration and assonance, right? So whenever we talk about alliteration, keep this in your mind, dear. Alliteration, same sound will be uttered in each and every word. Whereas vowel sounds, when you hear the same kind of vowel sounds in between the different sentences, that is called as assonance. Alliteration, the consonant sounds will remain the same. All right. So moving ahead with the next figure of speech that we are going to discuss right now is hyperbole. Now, when hyperbole is used, it is to exaggerate or to try to bring it out the big picture out of the small things. Say, for example, even if you are doing something which is very tiny, which is of small worthy, but still you try to portray and present it as if you have done something which is very big, very great. So exaggeration is there on emphasizing and showing the effect. Now, in order to understand hyperbole, let us look into the examples. I have told you to stop 1,000 times. Now, you might have informed someone to stop after doing once or twice. But if you're repeating it, you will not say that I repeated it for 5 times, I repeated it for 10 times, I repeated it for 7 times. You will just say that I have told you million times or I have told you to stop it 1,000 times. So this is hyperbole, wherein you are exaggerating the number. Similarly, the next example that must have cost $1 billion. Again, if whenever you are purchasing anything and if it is really very costly, all right. So what is the word that we use? We say that it's very costly. But instead of just saying it's very costly, how do we exaggerate and how do we use a hyperbole? Cost $1 billion. So that might have cost you $1 billion. These days, oxygen, if you receive oxygen, if you find a patient who is suffering with lack of oxygen and finding difficulty in breathing, and if the patient purchases the oxygen cylinder where there is a huge scarcity and chaos, then we may use this that, oh, that might have cost you $1 billion. So keep this in your mind. You are trying to exaggerate. I could do this forever. Again, when anything you can do it for multiple number of times, you may say that I could do this forever. मैं हमेशा के लिए कर सकता हूँ, मैं लगातार कर सकता हूँ, मैं कई बार तक कर सकता हूँ. All right. So there are different exaggerations that we use in our day-to-day life. So whenever you are using such exaggerated phrases or exaggerated sentence, you are quoting hyperbole. All right. So keep this in your mind. Hyperbole talks about anything wherein you are trying to exaggerate in order to emphasize the impact or the effect. The next is irony. Now, irony occurs when there's a marked contrast between what is said and what is meant, or between appearance and reality. Now, what does irony mean? Whatever you are quoting, the image that you are seeing will be quite contradicting to what you are saying. Say, for example, Neeru is looking ugly, but instead of saying, look how ugly Neeru looks, you may say, look at her, how beautiful she looks. You are sarcastically quoting about my ugliness. So what such kind of statements, such kind of phrases you might have heard many a times. Many a times we do use irony. We taste food, and while tasting food, we understand that the food was not at all okay. But still, while quoting, what do we say? Okay, the food is yummy. Your face is saying something else. Your expressions are quoting something else. But to create that irony, what do? You say that, oh, it's a tasty food, it's a yummy food. So always remember, irony talks about contrasting emotions, contrasting feeling, contrasting like a relationship between the object that you are praising or talking or experiencing and expressing when compared to the reality of that particular object. So please remember, whenever we talk about irony, irony talks about contrasting effect or impact. Now you can see here the examples. The Titanic was said to be unsinkable. That means it was such a huge ship Nobody thought that it is going to sink anytime, ever it is going to sink, but sank on its first voyage. All right. So such kind of irony based on the situation, we call it as situational irony. How nice, she said, when I told her I had to work all weekend. Now, when you have to work on weekend, that talks about how boring it might be, or how like chaotic it might be. It might take your energy at toss when you have to work even on weekends. You at least will require some time to relax. But in case if you do not get that time of relaxation, people should say, "Look at you, how poor." But instead of saying, "Oh, so sorry to hear that you are working even the whole weekend," if people contradict and if say, "Wow, very nice. I heard that you were working even on Sundays and Saturdays." So that again is a irony, and such kind of irony is called as verbal irony, because while speaking, while quoting, we quote such kind of statements. Similarly, when the audience knows the killer is hiding in a closet in a scary movie, but the actors do not. Now, generally, you might have seen whenever you are watching movies and all, you believe you can see that there is a villain or there is a goon who comes from behind and hits the main actor or the lead actor. You can see, but the other person, like the main lead actor or the hero, he doesn't sense that. So such kind of ironies are called as dramatic irony. Just for your understanding, you should remember irony means what you are trying to present is in fact not the real image. जब भी हम irony का प्रयोग करते हैं, हमेशा याद रखिए, irony विपरीतार्थक भाव को दिखाता है. आप कह कुछ और रहे हैं, लेकिन बातों में आपका जो भावना है और जो एक्चुअल में लोग फील कर रहे हैं, इन दोनों में जमीन आसमान का फर्क है. That means it's always contradictory to each other. So, moving ahead with the next kind of figure of speech, this is my favorite because this I have heard from my childhood days. Even you people must have used it from your childhood days. This is called as onomatopoeia. Onomatopoeia is a term that is used where we are producing the same sound that we describe. For example, when we talk about the snake, you all might have seen in television or even in National Geography, Animal Planet, such kind of channels, as well as the documentation based on the different animals. Whenever the animal, particularly snake, when it produces sound, it is the sound is also called as hiss, but hiss is again the verb, the action that is made, produced by the snake. So snake hisses. Similarly, clock tick tocks, bees buzz, click. Whenever you talk about the quack, the ducks, they click clack. So there are certain sounds that are produced by different objects, different animals, and when we say the same word or produce the same sound to express what the object is producing or making or creating, such words are called as onomatopoeia. Everybody should remember this because this is again a favorite question that was asked multiple times. Onomatopoeia is the term for a word that sounds like what it is describing. Say, for example, when you are describing, you will use the same word in order to describe that particular sound that is produced by the object or by the animal. The next is personification. The personification is something where you are giving human-like quality to a non-living object or human-like quality to your ideas and thoughts. For example, you might have read the beautiful poem in your class 4th, 5th, or 6th, wherein the table talks about the problem that it faces each and every day with his friend chair. So the conversation between table and chair, the conversation between chalk and duster, the conversation between books and table, the conversation between the different non-living objects. In fact, they cannot talk. In fact, they cannot express emotion. But we give life or we portray, we imagine as if they have the life, and then we try to explain their feelings, their emotions, and their way of understanding. Such kind of figures of speech is called as personification. यहाँ याद रखना है personification में ह्यूमन की तरह हम जीवन डालते हैं उन निर्जीव वस्तुओं में जिनमें जीवन नहीं है या वो हमारी तरह बोल नहीं सकते. So for example, you can see the example number 1. The flowers nodded. Now the flower cannot nod because it's not a human being to nod its head here and there. So, but still, when you see the shaking flower, you imagine as if there is life in the flower and it is reacting and responding exactly the way the human being does. Similarly, the snowflakes danced. Now, the snowflakes, it may fall from the cloud, but when you see that, you feel, you imagine as if it is dancing. The thunder grumbled, the noise that is produced by the huge lightning thunder. Similarly, the wind howled. So these are the examples which shows that these are non-living objects or even certain living objects, but they cannot have life within themselves. Still, by based on their actions, by looking at their actions, what do? We create, we try to give life within them so that we can personify and we can present what their actions are. The last is synecdoche. Now, whenever we talk about the synecdoche here, we should remember this occurs when a part is represented by whole, or conversely, the whole is represented by the part. Please remember, sometimes when you are using any object, either a small part may represent the whole one, or the whole part can talk about some few tiny objects. You can see here, like say for example, when you see the wheels, generally wheels are used for cars. Police, now you know, whenever we are talking about the police, you're talking about a policeman. Similarly, Coke, any kind of cola drink is called as Coke. Hired hand, whenever you have hired the workers, you call it as hired hand. So, say for example, mobile. These days, the general word that is used is mobile. What do we understand? Literal term, if you are going to check in the dictionary, mobile means anything which is movable, which can move from one place to another place. Instead of saying mobile phone, we just say mobile. Bring my mobile. And then people will bring the same exactly what you are trying to ask for. They will understand it that you are asking for a mobile phone and they are going to fetch it for you. So keep this in your mind that synecdoche is something which you can understand because of your common usage, because of our regular usage, because of our day-to-day utilization in our life. We are using, even we can understand a partial information that is shared can help us to get the whole picture out of that particular small part. So these are the different figures of speech that are generally used by the business students or by business English people, wherein you are going to try to write your information, try to write your article, try to present your thought in a much beautified or better way. So then, as I said, that you have to remember all these. The last one is synecdoche, then personification, onomatopoeia, irony, hyperbole, assonance, alliteration, oxymoron, simile, and metaphor. In case now, if you have any doubt related to any of these different figures of speech, I'll appreciate if you can unmute your speaker and ask the same. All right. So in case if I see that you people have no doubts, so let me ask you certain questions. Let me find out whether
Excuse,
you
ma'am.
people. Yes, dear.
Ma'am, in the difference
Yes.
between metaphor and simile, it is that we must use the word like and as for the comparison in simile.
Yes. Because you are directly comparing the object with the other one. All right. Whenever you are comparing any object with other, you are going to use like, as, dash, as. All right. It's not only as. Many a times, she is as smooth as cake. All right. So there can be different ways of comparison. But yes, you rightly stated, whenever we are using simile, a simple way to make you understand the difference between simile and metaphor would be, metaphor, you have to go with the expression. You have to identify what the expression is. And based on the expression, then only you will understand whether the person was using a simile or metaphor. Whenever we talk about simile, it's a direct comparison. So direct comparisons are much easy to understand when compared to indirect comparisons. All right. Any other doubt, dear? I hope I have cleared your doubt related to metaphor and
Yes, ma'am.
simile. Okay. Any other doubts, dear? All right. So whenever you are exaggerating, hyperbole, Shalini, uh, you have scored 60 marks. But generally, if nobody had scored 16 marks in your family, in your complete, like brother, sister, cousin, everywhere, nobody had scored 16 marks. Then your parents may say that, look at my daughter, she had scored excellent marks. Do you consider 60 as excellent? No, but still, why will it become an excellent? Why do we say that it's a fantastic mark? Because nobody had scored that mark in your family. So then it becomes a hyperbole. All right, Shalini? Whenever we are exaggerating, irony is contradicting. Mohini, if you are wearing a dress which is absolutely not at all matching or not at all suiting you, all right, but your brother comes and says, oh wow, you're looking very beautiful. In fact, you're not looking beautiful, but still he'll say that, oh, you look at you, you're looking very beautiful. What is he doing? Instead of criticizing directly, he is trying to criticize you indirectly. Dear, such kind of contradictory statements is called as irony. So, Mohini, did you understand, dear? What is the difference? How do we use irony in our communication? All right. Any other doubts? Well, in case if you do not have doubts, so let me ask you certain questions to see whether you people could understand the figures of speech properly or not. I will be giving you certain examples, and then you are going to say whether it is a metaphor, simile, oxymoron, alliteration, assonance, hyperbole, irony, Animatopia, personification, or synecdoche. All right. So let us take a small test and let me see how many of you can really get into the understanding of all these. So the first one. I have million of things to do. I have million of things to do. Very good,
Hyperbole.
Ananta. Very good. Very
I'm
good. Yes.
hyperbole.
I want the answers in chat box. I want the answers in chat box. So the first one, whosoever is going to give the answer would be the winner. Otherwise, rest other you can all copy and paste. I know that you people are too smart in copying and paste because your answers were completely copy and paste during the examination. Pretty ugly. Pretty ugly. No, Ananta. Very good, Tanya. It is oxymoron because if anything is pretty, how it could be ugly? All right. So yes, it is oxymoron. So Ananta gets 1 point and Tanya gets another point. All right. So let me see the next one. She is the star. She is the star. Very good, Pintu. Metaphor. Very good. Very good. So she is the star. So you are right. It is metaphor. The next one. Let me see who is going to answer me this. When I saw the moon, it was smiling at me. Mhm. Pinto, you're wrong. No, Aradhana. When I saw the moon, it was smiling at me. Very good, Megha. Yes, it is personification. Why? Because moon cannot smile at me, right? So therefore, it's again I added that particular life into the moon, and it looked as if it is smiling. All right. The next one, I could hear the tick tock of the clock. I could hear the tick tock of the clock. Very good. Yes, it is onomatopoeia because here the sound is the ticking of the clock. Now let us do the last one of today's class so that we can see and find out whether you all could understand it or not. She is as cool as the cat. Very good, Mohini. Yes, it's simile. All right. Very good. Very good. Very good. So I hope everybody could understand the different figures of speeches. So what I'll do is, like yesterday, I'm going to include certain examples of all the different figures of speech that we have discussed. I'm also going to post this particular PPT on your classroom code so that you people can refer, go through it, and I'll appreciate if you people can have more practice on these. Uh, One thing, dear, whenever we talk about free love, you should remember, yes, it's a contradicting word. Whenever you are talking about love, love can happen only when there are certain expectations. And when you are in love, say, for example, your father is in love with you, your mother is in love with you, they have expectation, and then it sneezes your, seizes your freedom, isn't it? Whenever we are talking about any love. So love cannot give you freedom, rather it demands for your living there. So therefore, you should remember free love is a contradictory word, and that is the reason it is used as oxymoron. All right, dear? All right, Ananta? You can never be free when you are in love with someone. Uh, yes, this unbiased opinion. Always remember, opinions are biased. Why we call it as opinion? Because people will have different their own set of expectation. Ananta, for you, teacher A can be very good, some other may have some other opinion. So whenever we talk about opinion, certainly it could be biased. So how can an opinion be unbiased? So similarly, painfully beautiful, if it is beautiful, it should not be painful. So again, jumbo shrimp. Shrimp is a small fish, all right? The smallest fish is called as shrimp. Now, how can a small fish be a jumbo size? All right, so therefore, these all are oxymorons. And then that is the reason where from wherever you are copying it, they all are under the category of oxymoron, right? So you should know whenever, because these are not written by you, you are copying it from the statement called as oxymoron. So that has already made you understand that oxymorons are those wherein they are the contradicting words. One word is contradicting with the other word, therefore they are called as oxymoron. All right, dear? Any other doubts that we have? Yes, Pinto, I'm going to share the same on the Google Classroom so that you all can look into it. You all can go through the same and can get more understanding. All right. Now, with this, we have concluded the first part of our chapter, that is figures of speech. Now, what I want you to do is try to write one page on A4 size sheet and try to include number of figures of speech. This is the activity which everybody is going to do, and send the picture, JPG or PDF, on the classroom code. And the assignment should be submitted by uh, Friday. That is, I'm giving you 1 day time, 48 hours of time, so that you people can finish it off. Try to write one paragraph in which you can include number of figures of speech. In one single paragraph, try to include metaphor, simile, oxymoron, onomatopoeia, personification, synecdoche, alliterations, assonance, as well as hyperbole and irony. Try to write them. And then when you are underlining, say for example, after writing it, you have to underline and with some other color pen, do write what it is. Say for example, my brother is an apple of the eye of my mother. An apple of my mother's eye is a metaphor. So, an apple of my mother's eye, I underline this and on the top I'll write metaphor. He is as sweet as a chocolate. So, again, as sweet as it's a simile, but his activities are painfully beautiful. What am I doing? I'm using oxymoron. So, try to write a paragraph and then underline the different figures of speech that we have discussed in our classes. In case if you could not understand any of the figure of speech, don't hesitate in coming up with your query. I'm here to explain and express what exactly these figures of speech mean in our day-to-day life. All right, dear. So with this, I am ending up my class. I hope everybody could understand the different figures of speech. Still, in case if you have any doubt, tomorrow, before we are going to start something new, we are going to revise the figures of speech very quickly so that I can clear your doubts. All right. So in case still, if you have any doubt related to any of these, you can let me know. I am sharing the attendance link with you all and give you 2 minutes time to get your attendance mark. I'm closing it little early because genuine limitation. Now, whenever you are talking about limitations, limitations cannot be genuine. All right. So, Ananta, this is again an oxymoron. All right. Limitation means wherein you are setting up certain control. Genuinely, you cannot control others. So, therefore, this is again an oxymoron. So I'll appreciate if you can mark your attendance and revise all these. Take good care of yourself. I believe you all have your mathematics class from 4:15. And since morning, as you were using your mobile phone, you can relax it. You can give relax or to your mobile for 10 to 15 minutes so that you can attend the maths class without any problem. Do take care of yourself and have a fantastic day ahead. God bless you.